All right, Hop a day, everybody, and Happy New Year. KUM Sports is coming at you like we never left, and I am joined by someone who is a phenomenal athlete in Guam's community. Aldwin Blanco recently competed in eSports in Istanbul, Turkey, playing none other than Street Fighter 5. Aldwin, Happy New Year, bro, and congratulations on representing 671 out there. I haven't played Street Fighter in like a while ago, but I would like to think I can still hold my own if I use it.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate the having the chance, the opportunity to be here. Happy New Year to you too, Mr. Salas, Mr. Jason Salas, and yeah, it was definitely an experience. And as one of the biggest dreams for doing something that I really enjoy and love passionately about, and to put have Guam 671 on my back, it's definitely a dream come true for me at least.
Well, is there any pressure because you're experienced esports athlete and a gamer at this point. So when you go out, to an international event or when you're competing with people, like online gaming on the other side of the world, do you actually feel like a little bit of pressure because you're the Guam guy, or does that actually strengthen you and motivate you? And or once you sit behind the controller and you're ready to go, like all that just melts away and you're like, okay, I got a game to play.
At least for me, sometimes the pressure kind of goes with who I'm kind of tied with. So big shout outs and much love to my brother Louis Blanco. He's like a jiu-jitsu phenom. He's a big name here in the jiu-jitsu world
Very
in
good friend
Guam.
of ours too. So shout out to
Yeah,
Chris.
right. So for me, it's just like, man, I wanna be a champion too. But there are a lot of players out there around the world who put in the work, put in they have their country, their home on their back too. So they're just doing the same things I can. But for me, I just love it because to me, it's I can be going up against a big country. They're sponsored, and here I am. The only sponsor that I'm there for is my wallet. So I just want to make sure I do the best. And it's nice when um, most of the times that you just train on your own, or you train when you can, or you play as much as you can, and then you send someone home, you beat someone, and they're like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Guam." Like, "Where's that?" I'm like, "Google it, man, because that's the only way you're gonna find out."
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure the esports community appreciates that, and I'm sure even more to the point, probably the Guam Visitors Bureau really appreciates. I mean, you are an ambassador for our island, and like
oh,
when you go out there, and whether you win or lose, but when you compete with island pride and everything, that certainly comes through in your play.
yes, definitely. I can say the same experience for some other countries who I've met, and I would ask like, "Where are you from?" And they're like, "From this one," and I'm like, "I don't know where that is." And so it's very kind of you know the same kind of I guess experience for them as for me because they are like they don't know where I'm from. I don't know where they're from, especially. So we kind of have that bond, and we'd be like, "Oh, we're like come from small different places around the world. They don't know who we are, but to know they're like, oh wow, you're really good, or like, how do you play?" And it's like, oh, we have really not good connection internet, but we make it work. So we have that going for us, and I guess in that aspect, I enjoy it for what it is for sure.
Okay, well, were there any nerves at this point? Because I mean, you're sitting down, you're like a island boy in a foreign land and everything. Again,
Yeah.
going back to you're not in your normal environment. But what was the caliber of play when you were out there?
When I went out there, from what I remember, at least it was kind of more of an invitational. They have one representative, so it's only one player. There's no more than that for each country. So there are countries like Canada, Ghana, Serbia, Turkey, Kazakhstan, and so these are some players that you don't even know that they're on the radar, but you kind of get a whiff if you're at least up to date with at least the what we call the FGC, which is the fighting game community.
Mhm.
So there were big names as world champions, like the a guy from Great Britain, Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand, and I remember these names, and even the guy from Canada too. Like these are top players that you would know because you can go on YouTube, you can find their footage, you can find their streams,
And
and then they
you
play a
can kind of
lot.
scout their talent level
Yeah,
and their tendencies, their patterns, right?
yeah, so in that regard, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I know who he plays. It's kind of the best way to scout, like you said, and find information like, okay, this is what I gotta be ready for. It's the ones that you don't know anything about. So like you could be like, oh, you're challenging this guy. I'm like, who's this guy? You're going through
So
YouTube,
how do you
going
get
through
ready for
Twitter.
those kind of guys? Like if you have no data to build on, and you haven't got like a body of work, and likewise, that they have no idea how you are, and you've only got what, like a three set match.
I think that's when the nerves come in. That's when you're like, I don't know who he plays. Because in Street Fighter 2, it's all about matchup. You have a character who specializes in this, and then you have a character who counters you. You hope that doesn't happen, and vice versa. Like, oh, I have the advantage here, but sometimes too in games like this, it's not necessarily the character, it's the player. So
Mhm.
you can have someone who's just bum rushing who plays a zoner, and you're like, I don't know how to handle that. I don't know what to do. Like sooner or later in you can just get demolished. You can get ran through. And that's the one thing about Street Fighter. It's just quick and about. Like if you don't know what to do, you can be done with your games in like a minute, 2 minutes, and you're done. Okay.
So
And
on that
yeah.
point, Alvin, tell me about like how would you describe your own fighting style like in Street Fighter? Because again, like when I played, like when I
Okay.
first graduated from high school, way long ago when Street Fighter first came out, I tended to be like really more the aggressor, and when I would
Okay.
use
Okay.
like Chun Li
Uh-huh.
or Guile and everything like that, it was just attack, 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 attack. But
Hmm.
the game and the way the game is played has evolved so much now.
Definitely. At least for Street Fighter 5, the newest installment for the game before the new one comes out next year. It's the mechanics of the game have now like really changed the characters. So I play the boxer, which is Balrog,
Hmm.
and like his I think for the at least in the game, his nickname is like the Raging Bull. So that's my play style. Is I am the aggressor. I basically make sure that you don't have the opportunity to think, to react, to you don't know what's going on because it's just so much pressure, at least from my point of view. And like I'm kind of sometimes the guy that when I'm feeling myself, I'll just kind of shout things out, even if we're in player, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, but I completely do the opposite. Or I'll keep doing the same stuff over and over until you know how to, deal with it, maybe defend from it. But for me, I guess if you can even ask a few players from the FGC who at least know me or play with me, I'm kind of very disrespectful in that regard. That's all I can say. But I just like to do that on my part.
Well, that is a part of competitive athletics is
Yeah.
you have your own not only your own style of play in the virtual game, but then are you a smack talker? Do
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
will you try and like get inside the guy's head or break him mentally before
Yeah.
you attack him? And also, I mean, total respect to that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
style of play. I mean, like when I played sports, I was the talker too.
Oh,
I've always
okay.
believed that like any sport is half physical and half mental.
Yes, at least for me too is I try to do that, and it makes it fun for me. And my thing is, if I'm getting beat, I'm like, okay, I need to dial it back because I can't be talking smack and then be getting smacked, so it doesn't work out. But if I'm feeling myself and I'm in the groove and I'm like, oh man, buddy, you better do something quick, or I'm just gonna wash you. But that's how it is. And I totally agree with it. Sometimes too, a lot of people say like Street Fighter is like very fast-paced kind of like chess, so you just got to react. You got to be able to keep up, or before that, your life bar is already gone and down. So yeah,
Mhm. Okay, so what's next for you, and what do you think is next for Guam's esports community? Because I mean, it has blown up so much in the past 24 months. My buddy Ken Nicholas running the
yeah,
esports program over there at UOG, and there's so many people getting involved with it right now. And I'm sure as someone who is making great waves in the Guam gaming community, it's part of all of us as athletes to give back and to make sure that you take the skills that you've learned and the pitfalls to that, and make sure you teach the next generation how to do the game right.
yeah. Definitely. Shout outs to Kenson Nicholas because I've known Kenson Nicholas for pretty much a big portion of my life, and the things that he's doing to the esports for UOG, and he's been saying this ever since at least Street Fighter 4, which was like if give or take like 2010. Okay, so now we're in 2023 now, and he's making it happen. It's such a sight to like see, to know what he's been saying it and now he's doing it. So
Mm.
I'm a little bit jealous too now. I'd be like, oh, man, I went to UOG. Oh, I would have been at school every day if I there was a esports team. They had our games and whatever. So it's just kind of like, man, you know. I wish we could have done that, but now right now the only thing I can do is take the opportunities that come my way. So I guess for the esports scene, it is blowing up. There are a lot of players out here who are good what they do and what they play, and they just play consistently. The only thing that sucks is we don't really have the opportunities like tournaments and more people to come out and play. And I think Kenson Nicholas is trying to make that happen to show like, hey man, if you're good at something, let me put you on the spot. Let me have put Guam on your back and represent. And for me, that's the experience that I can take now. and that's all I want to do. So at least for me, the next goal right now is Evo Japan, which is happening in March, April.
That's the big one.
That's the next one that I can do. There are like the states have a lot of big tournaments, and big faces come out, and like top names and top competitors too. But of course, it's I still got my priorities and responsibilities with work. I don't have much like leave. I got to prioritize what I can do and what I can take. So Japan's not that far. 4-hour trip. I'm gonna go do the tournament, maybe enjoy myself a little bit with on vacation, and hopefully I can go out there and beat some top names if anything, because that's just more the goal. If I win, that's a dream come true. But if I can take out a top name and be like, oh, you were sponsored here, you got paid, oh man, that's kind of sucks to know that you wasted someone else's money. But it's okay. That's just my thought. That's just my thought.
Again, you can be a little disrespectful, but no,
Yeah,
I totally see your game.
yeah, yeah.
It's passive aggressive, which probably like lends well to your Street Fighter play too. Okay. Before I let you go, bro, because I mean, it's a new year. We got a ton of things to do. The short term goal, of course, Evo in Japan, but the longer term for any esports athlete right now is the fact that esports is going to somewhere down the line, probably
Mhm.
very soon, be an Olympic sport.
Oh wow. Okay. Yes.
Do you
Yes.
see yourself like competing, at the pinnacle of sports for any athlete and competing and competing for Guam at that level?
Yes, I would love to. I would love to think so too. I did get a whiff of esports becoming huge as to be a part of participating in the Olympics, and if I still have the skills and if I still can keep up with the younger generations and these young bucks, because there's always going to be someone better, and that at least for me, it's I got to work on my skill set at least keep up, because now you got these kids who are so invested in like their PC computers, who are so like fast and in terms of learning, that a really good experience, a really good story that I can say is there's this one kid, I think he's like from Europe. He's a 16-year-old who was playing Minecraft for so long, jumped on Street Fighter 5 and won a big tournament to the point where he's in a Capcom's Street Fighter's Capcom Cup, which is the biggest payout tournament from Street Fighter or Capcom. Like this kid came out of nowhere, and we're like, "Excuse me, who are
And
you?" Like,
he just picked up Street Fighter like as on a
I
whim.
think he picked up Street Fighter within a year, and then this game has been out since 2016, and this guy just came out of nowhere and took a spot to participate in Capcom's biggest tournament with one of like the biggest payout. Like I think if I'm not mistaken, like it's a couple of hundred G's. You know what I mean? And it's just like
That's kind of equivalent to like a ELM DJ or something like that. All of a
yeah,
sudden picking up heavy metal on guitar and then winning the Grammy.
yeah. So it's unthinkable to think like wow. So for me, I would love to. There's nothing that gives me more bigger pride than for have to have Guam on my back, and because I miss home. I love home, and if there's anything I can do to showcase and represent home, because if I'm in that position of like being a delegate and ambassador for Guam, so be it. Let me do it. I would love to represent home every time, any chance I could.
Right on. Well, we hope that you do because we know Guam's going to be in very very good hands, and it's going to have a lot of attitude and a lot of smack talk like behind it, and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah. Hey, that's competitive gaming, right? So Aldwin Blanco,
Yes.
thanks so much. Congratulations on all your success, and happy New Year to you, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. And you too, brother Jason, man. Take care.
All right, keep on gaming, man.
And thank you.